Hello, Media Tech Ventures fans. I am Christy White. I'm the CMO for Media Tech, if you do not know me. And I am so happy to welcome you today to our first of our 5-part educational series with our community partners, Imaginnovate. First of our series is around code is not a prerequisite. Like, we know that running a tech startup is hard, but running a tech startup as a non-tech founder can even be more daunting. And so that imposter syndrome keeps in, and the doubts on whether or not you can even do it. But let me remind you that some of the most successful companies have been founded, like Alibaba, Stitch Fix, Airbnb, and more, by non-tech founders. So I'd like to welcome to the Media Tech virtual stage today our community partner and educator for the day, Satish Kamsali with Imaginnovate. Hello, Satish.
Hey, Chrissy. Good morning.
Thank you for joining us and for giving us your wealth of knowledge.
Mhm.
Our founders are definitely needing it. I can tell you, like, they're the startups as it is. It's a hard business. So trying to figure out the rest of it can be difficult.
Uh,
But so to give you a little bit about Satish's background, and which is diverse, just to let you know, and I hope I do this justice, so please forgive me if I don't. But Satish is a passion for mobile app development. He started his career as an Android developer. He has 10 years journey through IT industry, and he's done everything from team management to leading a team of 15 plus IT professionals to fun technology projects with Media Tech Ventures. So I will let myself exit now and allow Satish to take it over and give us a little bit more insight into what does it really take to run a tech startup as a non-tech founder.
well, pleasure is mine, Christy, and thanks for the kind introduction. Nice to meet everyone. Okay. So, as Christy said, I've around 10 years of experience, and I've been working with Imaginnovate for more than 5 years. Okay. So, I've started my career as an Android developer, and right now I'm leading a team of 15 developers as a team manager at Imaginnovate. Okay. So, today we are going to learn about or discuss about a webinar topic that's running a tech startup as a non-tech founder. Okay, so I'll share my screen and we'll walk through the slides that I've prepared. Okay. 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 I hope everyone can see the screen. Okay. So today's webinar is mostly about running a tech startup as a non-tech founder. Okay, and so this is Satish Kamsali, as I said, and I work with Imaginnovate as a team manager. Okay. And before we do a deep dive into webinar, let me give you a hint about what we're going to learn today. We're going to learn about how to choose the right technology team, how to establish your product journey, and how to clearly communicate your vision to others, to be specific with the technology team as well. Okay. So coming to the first topic, we're going to learn about choosing the right technology team for your startup. Okay. So, why is it important to choose the right tech team for your startup? Because you have too many areas to contribute as a non-tech founder. Okay, you have the marketing, you have the network to grow, you have the financials to look after, and you have to keep tap on the trends of the market. So with all these things going on, it's pretty hard to keep an eye on the technology as well. Okay, there are a couple of constraints that each non-tech founder goes through. A couple of them are your focus should be on the business because a technology team can make sure that they deliver the product that you are envisioning, but they cannot contribute to you on the business end. So you'll have to make sure you follow the market research and do the analysis of the trend that's in the market right now and change accordingly. Moving to the next point, development is really a costly affair, so don't be lavish on it. Make sure you choose the right technology team as any rework in terms of technology or moving from one technology team to another technology team can be a really costly thing to do. Okay, so just make sure you choose the right technology team at the beginning, so that they stay with you towards the rest of the journey of the startup. Okay, and the next one is be mindful of your time to the market. So many of the startups do take a lot of time uh, from the inception or discovering or completing their ideation stage, moving to releasing an MVP with the core features. Okay. Uh, Typically, when we work with the startups, we feel a time duration of 3 months is more than sufficient to develop an MVP, develop the core feature, put that out for the test, and validate your idea. Okay. Now, more than that is something that's going to take a lot of cost, and it's going to lose a lot of time. Okay, so make sure you release your products as per the timeline that you have set. Okay? Uh, and any events or any community organizations will be happy to welcome your products according to their events. So make sure to plan your product launch aligned with these events. Okay, and keep an eye on the resources. As a startup, there are so many resources that are available, which can be limited or also can be free for some time, such as Amazon. Amazon is providing some resources for free for 1 year. Okay, so as a non-tech founder, you need to choose the right team so that the right tech team is going to make sure that they use the resources in a timely fashion and in the best possible way that's possible. Okay, and acquiring a tech skill set often takes time and effort. So though you are a non-tech founder and you have an eye for technology, learning a tech skill set does take a lot of time and effort. Though it might seem to be easy to get started with, but dealing with the technology on a day-to-day basis, fixing the issues, and all these things are going to divert your focus from your business. Your technology team, as I said, is going to take care of your technology aspect, but they cannot take care of your business. So, coming to the business, it's you who should be looking for the market trends or all the demos and schedules that you would like to make sure that's the path. Okay. Moving to the next slide is we are going to look at the traits that you need to consider while choosing the right tech team. Okay, so any solution provider cannot work with a startup. The solution provider that you are choosing should understand the startup life cycle and also have understanding of startup ecosystem. Okay, now the solution provider having knowledge about the startup life cycle is going to help you at every stage of your startup. They're going to work and evolve along with you since they know the importance of each stage of a startup. They are going to deliver and direct you with respect to the technology at each stage. Okay. Now, the technology team should also be flexible with the technologies, challenges, and issues that come along the path. Okay, no matter with the assumptions that you go forward in terms of technology and challenges, there will be definitely a lot more changes and new challenges that come across. Okay, so the technology team should be able to tackle them and also adapt to the new challenges. Okay. Um, so during your MVP and post MVP, there might be several changes that you might require. That can be during the live demos or post MVP based on user feedback, which are needed to be addressed at the earliest. So you need to make sure the technology team is always available to make sure they respond to your rapid requests at the earliest and avoid any adverse effects. Okay. Now, the technology team also should be reliable and secure, should also do a reliable and secure development. So that way, all the data that you have been collecting, that can be the metrics, that can be the actual data of the product, you need to make sure that they are secure, and they are not accessible freely. Okay. Um, as a startup, you might go ahead and start with three as a dev team. But again, as your needs grow, there's a very good possibility that you might require more number of resources in terms of development to increase the speed or deliver more modules or look into new opportunities or extend your business into different regions. So it's really important that the technology team can also grow along with you and easily scalable. Now, managing a team directly is going to cost you more, but when it comes to a solution provider who can scale along with your needs, that's going to be really easy. Okay, and adaptable to the ever-changing requirements. So, in our experience, we have worked with more than 50 startups, and the assumptions and the ideas that we start with never stay the same towards the end of the product, and that's really good thing because you are adapting to the changes that are being requested by the market or by the early adopters who are really keen on making this work for you. Okay, so the development team should be able to catch up with all the changing requirements. Okay, so that way your product becomes a market fit at the earliest. Okay, now we have covered two sections, like why is it important to choose the right technology team, in that why and the traits that you need to consider for choosing the right tech team. Okay, now the next slide is going to be about the ideal product team that you need for the development of any product. Okay, the first one will be the project manager or the product owner who is going to own the success or a failure of a product. They're going to make sure that your vision comes to life, and they take the calls on a daily basis. They engage with the developers once you give all the scope to them. Okay. The next is the designer. Um, Designers are going to make your vision into visual sketches. So they build in the designs for both the mobile and web applications. Okay, and then you'll be requiring developers, both front end, back end, and mobile developers, depending upon uh, which kind of development that you're working on. Okay, if you're working on a mobile only application, then mobile developers would suffice. But again, if you're looking forward for an application where an admin site is required and you also have a mobile application running, okay, in that case, you need both front end and back end and mobile applications. Okay, and for the QA, to make sure that the product that you are building is a bug-free one and it doesn't have any issues with going to live, you need a quality assurance team that makes sure that the product is seamless for the user. Okay. So with this, our first topic is choosing the right team is done. Okay. Now in this, we have learned like why is it important to choose the right tech team, and the traits for the right technology team, and also what will be an ideal product team for you. Okay. Moving on to the next topic, which is establishing your product journey. Okay. So before establishing the product journey, it's really important that you define the product. Okay. So it's important for you to establish like what are you building, like what are the core functionalities that you would like to build, and why is it so important that you are doing right now. Okay, and you have a vision and you believe in something, something that you think is going to change the world for good. Okay, any pain points that you have observed in the community, or any key opportunities that you have found are going to make a difference. So that's important, and working towards defining your focuses area is really important. Uh, when you're working on a startup, it becomes overwhelming when you are kind of shooting in all directions. So it's really important to define the focus area where you would like to focus more, and define the core logic there. Okay. Now defining that will help you stay concentrated and work on the MVP. Once the MVP is done, you will get real-time feedback from the users based on which you can make the changes. After that, you can plan on your growth and scaling and being established startup. Okay. Now you'll also have to understand similar products in the market. Okay, so whenever you are working on a startup, it's really good to assume that you are creating a unique solution, but most of the time that might not be the case. So it's really important to look out for the products such as yours, which are trying to solve the same pain point or similar ones. Okay, so that way you are well prepared on what's being already tried in the market and what additional you have to do to get the market attention. Okay, and your product is bound to change, and that can be a good thing. So when you are trying to build a startup, it you always have the list of exceptions and also the assumptions that you go forward with. Okay, but again, once you start testing that with the real time users, that does change going forward. Okay, and as you learn more about the user feedback and start changing to that, and the product is going to come really good and it's going to help you be a product market fit at the earliest. Okay, now it's also important to identify the early adopters and create a robust feedback channels for them to give you a list of feedback or the issues, so that way you don't have to wait till you go live with all the users at once. Okay, but the early adopters are going to help you shape the product in the best possible way. Okay, and trust me, most of the early adopters will be really keen and happy to help you, provide you with the feedback that's required because they want the product to be successful forever. Okay, and the next one is monetization. So you'd like to go ahead and identify the target audience that can be business to business and business to customer. Okay, and the different revenue models that a startup can go ahead with. It can be an ad based where your platform gets a lot of users and you can go ahead with the target based ads where that's going to generate the revenue. And then you have a subscription model where you create different subscription packages such as monthly, quarterly, and yearly. And these subscription models kind of give the access to the platform. Okay, and then you have SaaS revenue model where you develop a software as a service. Uh, so product. So the customers have to pay for your product as they keep using the software. Okay. Then you have a freemium model. Okay. And in the freemium model, a couple of features of your app are available for free, and they can users can sign up and use those features. But again, when they try to access exclusive features, it's going to be showing them a message saying that they need to upgrade their package to be accessible. Okay, so that's all about monetization and defining your product. Okay. And typically, there are 5 stages in a startup product journey. Okay, and the product journey starts with ideation, doing a deep dive into discovering your product, understanding more about your product, and dealing that with uh, adding all the finer details that you can about the product. Okay, and then you have an MVP, which is minimum viable product. Here you identify what's really required from the ideation, and this one in the MVP you develop those features and go with a live version which has the core functionality. Okay, and based on the feedback from the MVP, you're going to start working on a phase one or a phase two, which is going to make your product a product market fit. Okay, now the difference with the startup before the product market fit and at the product market fit is when the customers are happy with what they are experiencing with your product or the startup, and and then and so product market fit is when they are happy with what they are seeing and they would like to recommend this to the other users. Okay, so once the product market fit is met, you're in a safe zone and you can scale the startup into different regions or promote for that to the larger audience. Okay. Then the final stage is maturity, where you decide on extending the startup, or going for an IPO, or exiting with an enterprise taking the product. Okay. So that's about establishing your product journey. And then the final topic that we are going to discuss today is uh, clearly communicating your vision. Okay. And so it's really important as an tech founder that you communicate your vision uh, to others, specifically to the technology team. Okay, so to do that, you need to master the problem that you're trying to solve. Make sure you understand the context of the problem that you're trying to solve. Look into all possibilities that you would like to go ahead and deal with. Try the pain points that you are planning to resolve. Okay, and get familiar with the jargons that are specific to the domain. So as a startup, it's really important that you focus on the domain that you're working on, that your startup is trying to focus on resolving an issue. So start learning more about the domain and the terminology that's being used, and using that you can share with the technology team as well, because that's going to inspire the team to go ahead and start looking for different approaches to get things developed in the way that you have never imagined. Okay. Then the next one is draft user flows with the easy tools. Okay. So so as an on-tech founder, it will be really challenging for you to communicate your vision to the technology team. So it's really important to go ahead and start creating the visuals and draft the user flows with easy tools. It doesn't have to be a complicated tools. Just go ahead and start using a paper or a pencil or a draw.io that's freely available to draft the user roles. Okay. And then it's really important to define what what you're trying to solve, or what are the main features of your startup is, and why you would like to do this, and who is going to be the end user, and how it's going to affect them. Okay. And when you would like to launch your product. Okay. And moving to the next point, building visuals that reflect your vision are really important. So you can go ahead and try different mock-up solutions that are available, so that you can show the world like what you're trying to build. Okay, and get the team involved in all the all the discussions, like making them familiar with the domains and domain knowledge, and all the issues that you're trying to solve. Because the technology team is going to be an extension of you, and they'll help you uh, bring up a better product that's going to be helpful for you and also to the community. Okay. So that's about the topic today. So with that, we have covered um, why I mean choosing the right technology team, then establishing the product journey, and clearly communicating your vision. Okay, and so about Imaginnovate. So we have worked with more than 50 startups, and there are startups that have generated more than $10 million in cumulative revenue, and there are 10 high growth startups growing over 100% year on year in terms of user base and also revenue. And there are 6 startups of which each has raised a minimum of $1 million in funding. Okay. And some of our startup clients are Blended Sense, Angeli, You and It, Bidops, Unitag, Calypso, AutoThink, and Believe Nutrition. So we did start our journey working with the startups 8 years from now, and we have been working mostly with the Austin region startups, and we have been spreading across different regions. Okay. And since we have worked with more than 50 startups, we did identify 6 verticals where we have spent most of our effort, and we have gained enough domain experience in all of these verticals. So there are six verticals that we mainly focus on: media tech, med tech, ed tech, e-commerce, lifestyle, and mobility tech. Okay. And we do have technology capabilities of front end, back end, and mobile application development. Front end includes React, Angular, and back end includes Node.js, Azure, and Ruby. And mobile application includes React Native, iOS, Android, and Java. Okay, we also be working with the clients on Google Cloud Platform and AWS services. Okay, and so how do we engage with startups is we work with startups on a tech analysis, which will be a 2-hour session where we understand about the startup and do a technology analysis and share the report with them. And we also work with the startups on discovery sessions where we define the technology strategy and a development roadmap and an implementation plan. Okay. Um, we engage with the startups for developing the prototype, minimum viable product, project based development that can be fixed and time and material. And we work with the startups who already have a development team with them. But there's a staff augmentation where we can outsource some of our resources to the tech team. Okay. Then we do technology consulting, where we identify the core issues with the startups on a periodic basis, maybe quarterly or quarterly, and then we get them back to. Okay. Uh, Thank you. That's me.
Yay! One other thing that I think you left off there, Satish, of what
Mhm.
you do really well, specifically with Media Tech Ventures, is mentorship. So
Yes.
as part of our both our new market entry programs for international cohorts and also our domestic incubator or media tech incubator, y'all have helped our startups figure out and navigate like being a non-tech founder in a tech startup. So mentorship, can't forget that. You can join Satish on the Media Tech Ventures community. So mediatech.ventures/join if you have questions for him. But we're also taking questions now. So if you want to post a comment, we'll pop it up. We are open Q&A, so that's how we like to roll here. Let's do it live and on the fly. Go. No, I loved like how you've outlined everything very clearly. Like this is not
Mhm.
a easy thing to go through, but to be able to kind of break it down in like here are the core steps that you need to get started. I think there's a lot of stuff that people won't even think that they need to do. So I love that you bulleted out everything and you went through. Are they able to get can we upload your presentation to your profile on MediaTek and have them be able to download that for later?
Sure, we can do that.
Awesome. Great. I want to make sure that they can come back to it if they have questions and also be able to access the deck should we need to. So, something we do not want to forget and everything is that this is a 5-part series. So, there's going to be more of these. And we actually have one coming up. Let me double check our date next week. It's going to be November 18th. We're going to
Yes.
be exploring the top things that a non tech founder needs to have. Oh, here we go. I really enjoyed this webinar. Good start. Like, this is all the best. Yeah, that's what you want. Thank you very much. Satish did it all. If there's any other questions or comments, please feel free to bring them in. Satish, I have a question for you.
Mhm.
What is what is the most interesting, like you said that one of the good things about the progress of when you start with a non-tech founder to when you're actually coming to the very end of the project, that
Mhm.
it doesn't look like it did when it came
Yes.
in, and that's supposed to happen. That's a good thing
Yes.
because it shows
Absolutely.
product market evolution, fit, things like that.
Mhm.
Has there ever been like anything interesting where someone has come in with an idea for something, but it completely changed and did like a 180 on you from the very end. Like, Does that happen a lot?
Yes, that does happen a lot. Okay. So as I said, we typically do an MVP for 3 months of duration. Okay. There will be 1 month of additional work that we do in the beginning for creating the wireframes and also building the visuals. Okay. But again, at the end of 3 months is when you get a final product that you can test or release to the market. Okay. Now this is where it all starts. This is where the user feedback starts coming in handy. Okay.
Mhm,
So now all the assumptions, exceptions that you consider for developing the product are put to a test. Okay. Now this is where you get the live feedback, and the users are really innovative with the way they use it. Okay. So any product that you're going to put out there, trust me, they're going to find each and every possible way to break it, and also they'll put forward a nice feedback to you that kind of makes you understand the user experience that they are facing,
mhm,
and it's going to change the product. Okay. So one of the experience is if you're trying to build a content delivery system. Okay. And making that really seamless is important. Okay. And most of the users would like to go ahead and have a user experience that is easy to learn. Okay. And does
mhm.
the job for them. Okay. and,
True.
and product founders are really keen on the kind of innovation that they are bringing into. Okay.
Mhm.
Most of the founders kind of are trying to solve the pain points or the areas in their community, which is really good.
Very good, because at least it's not, I have a great idea and I just want to see if it works. It's, I have something I've seen broken that I want to fix. And there's much more passion
Yes.
and why, and you're able to test things out. Yes, I always love getting user feedback because you never know what you're going to get.
Exactly.
And you never know things that you thought. I'm constantly surprised by the things that we thought, by
Mhm.
all experience and stuff that we have in certain things, would work, and they just didn't take to it, or it was actually more complicated than what we thought, or it could be as simple as the button was in the wrong place. In terms of just design and usability and things. So I find it interesting, gathering user feedback, and I think it's important to continually keep doing that too. But I love that there's a that kind of that you give them that 90 days, that 3 months, that this is how we're going to get into it, this is how we're going to develop it. Do you ever find that it's hard for a non-tech founder to not just understand, but to step into kind of that technical role or that technical understanding? Because sometimes those that aren't necessarily technically inclined, they don't think the same way, so they're having to kind of look at things from a completely different perspective. Do you ever find that there's conflict between the two?
Yeah, that does happen a lot.
Hmm.
So typically, the non-tech founders, either they are trying to understand more of the technology that they are going to implement in the product that they are working on. Okay. Or they are non-tech founders who does not really care about what's happening with the technology, but they do have a clear vision or on what the product should be. Like they understand in and out of the product, they understand the domain knowledge, so they define on how a product should come up. Okay. So with either of the tech founders, it really becomes amazing experience because the team gets involved in the type of product that they are building, and they come up with the solutions. So any enhancement that founder brings in, the technical team also validates that from a different
Hmm.
perspective, like comparing with the existing applications, and also giving back to the founder. It's a learning angle for both non-tech founder and also the technology team. The team kind of learns about the pain points and the community that we are working with. Okay. So there are creative communities that we have worked with earlier. There are social platforming networks that we have worked with. So they bring in a different flavor. So that kind of information is being drawn from the non-tech founder to the
Hmm.
technology team, whereas non-tech founder does learn a lot of technical jargons and understand little bit of the technology. Yeah, a little bit.
A
That
little
doesn't.
bit to be dangerous. I learned all these buzzwords now, and I'm going to throw them out every email. You non-tech founders know you do it too.
Trust me, they get really smart as it goes.
hmm
Okay.
Well, that's important to keep learning and evolving. If you're, I would say if you're not a non, if you're a non-tech founder running a tech startup, you need to be able to be open-minded towards hearing lots of feedback, lots of ideas, and going through and working out lots of different pathways of how this could potentially go to find and validate the right solution.
Exactly.
In the beginning you talked about, finding their core team and finding the right
Yes.
people in the right positions, and to me, like, with everything you're talking about, that's absolutely crucial for them to do first. Is there any tips that you would have, or insider tricks, or anything for someone who's trying to find that partner to start with? Like, do they need to look at personality? Do they need to look at tech backgrounds? Like, if they're a non-technical founder trying to find that technical partner,
Hmm.
what should they be looking for in relation to their idea?
For the startups, I would suggest that they go ahead with a solution provider who
hmm
have a keen understanding of what a startup lifecycle is and what a startup ecosystem is. Okay, because that's going to drive the technology team to tackle all the changes that
hmm
you need to implement for the product at every stage, because each stage of a startup is very different and you need to respond at different frequency. Okay, just to be clear, as an example, for the minimum viable product that you're going to build with the core functionality, you need to be quick. As I said, 3 months is a real good spot where you can develop. So you need to make most of it and deliver a minimum viable product that's going to work and which will let you validate your idea against the market. Okay.
hmm
Now, from MVP to product market fit, there will be multiple phases, which will be basically the iteration of MVP. Okay, building upon the user feedback and the business opportunities or the business goals that you get from
Okay.
that. Okay.
So having an already existing business goal is very important in this. Oh, we have a question from Erie Campbell on YouTube. Where should non-technical founders look for a technical founder? That's a really good question.
Okay. So accelerators are a good start. Okay, that's where you can interact with other technical founders. Okay,
What did you
and
say was a good start?
accelerators.
Okay.
Accelerators and mentors, having any webinars, these will be really helpful. Okay, um, going ahead with an acquaintance, giving an introduction to one of the technology founder, that will be a good start. Okay, rather than trying out something that's new. But again, the only tip that I could give there is the other technical founder should have an understanding about the domain knowledge. Okay, the
Mhm.
kind of product that you're building, they should be aware of that, and they should be able to work with the any technology challenges that you're going to face in the product development.
So it's important to almost kind of LinkedIn stalk some people to see, like, what does their qualifications look like? What have they worked within before? Could they
Yeah.
even potentially meet your needs so that you know what you're looking for in a person first? So that's good. Also, there are a lot of online communities, one of them being
Mhm.
Media Tech Ventures. So if you are in the media tech space, which a lot of people are because it's media and it touches everything we know, you can find partners and other technical and non-technical founders on our community. So again, that's mediatech.ventures/join, but also LinkedIn groups, Facebook groups. There's meetup groups that are centered around technical and non-technical founders, finding partners and collaborating on things. So I think it's important to explore those groups and start having conversations with people, because you don't know what you don't know until you know. So I open it up for anybody else who has any other questions. If not, I want to thank Satish so much for this. This is great. I'm really looking forward to next week's episode. Again, that's going to be on November 18th. I believe we are starting at 11 a.m. I will double check. We will send this out to everyone. Satish does have a profile on MediaTek Ventures account. This is where his slide presentations from today will be uploaded so that you can download those later and use them. And reach out to him and comment and question with any questions, or if you're interested in what Imaginnovate might do for a startup, please reach out to them. I think if there's nothing else coming through, Satish, I think this is amazing. Round of applause. Thank you again. And we will see everybody next week.
Thanks, Christy. Thanks for the opportunity.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.